button to go live, and we will be there. And now we are live. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brenda B. Bailey, and I am with Heidi Garis, and this is the Theta Healing. It's the Shatter Your Income Ceiling Theta Healing Power Hour. So I hope you have your seatbelts on, because not only do you have like a Theta Healing expert here, and we're going to look at beliefs and trauma and non-forgiveness on a cellular level, but you have Miss Heidi, who is like EFT like expert. And so what I was just, before we came on, right, I was telling Heidi, like, the founder of Theta Healing, she always says, because a lot of people sometimes just want to do belief work. Like, let's just do belief work, right? Because they don't want to look at their emotions. And I know, EFT is one of the credentials that I have, but I'm not an expert. Heidi is, right? So I'm a Theta Healing expert. So, the cool thing is that to be able to have like this amazing way to work on your beliefs, traumas, and non-forgiveness, and then this amazing way to be able to do emotional work. Like, so EFT is emotional freedom technique, correct, Heidi?
Correct, yes.
I know the acronym. And I'm like, wait, what does that stand for?
Yeah, the vernacular is tapping, because that's what we do. We tap on the points.
So let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. So Heidi, which I know, you guys, I have like the coolest people. Heidi is a psychotherapist, success coach, an intuitive energy healer who for the last 15 years has worked with business owners and executives who struggle to get to a higher level of success because they're stuck and unable to get out of their own way. So Heidi can help them actualize their dreams by guiding them to heal and align with their goals emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. So bam, bam, bam. We'll call that the Trinity, right? She's like, oh, that might be, you can steal that for your branding, Heidi.
There you go, Trinity. I'm writing that down.
So she has more recently expanded her practice and is now working with high-profile individuals who are looking for relief from the unique challenges that come with fame, celebrity, and massive success. So she helps them find their center, true happiness, and inner peace by empowering them to heal the pain of their past, navigate the pressure of the present, and finally come home to themselves and mind, body, and spirit. So she's got some credentials behind her, folks. She's got a master's degree in clinical social work and metaphysical science. She has multiple certifications in coaching, body work, energy work, and is currently pursuing her PhD in metaphysical psychology. So you can find Heidi either on a paddleboard in the middle of a lake in beautiful Bucks County, Pennsylvania, or curled up at home with her gorgeous Brazilian husband and her sweet and saucy daughter. And how do we pronounce her name, Heidi?
Tayani.
Tayani. Yeah. And her furry four-leg rescue from China. And their name is?
His name is Sir Jorah Wigglebottoms. Yes, I know. It's not, I took his Chinese name and I tossed it out the window just because we needed to let that history go. And he earned his name. That's all I'll say.
You may need some proof in the comments below afterwards, Heidi. That's all we're saying. We need a video. No, I'm kidding. So, so that is Heidi. I am super excited to have her, and I know the viewers are as well. So people she works with are going to get to know her a little bit better. People that I work with are going to get to know her a little bit better. So thank you for joining me, Heidi.
Thank you for having me, Brenda. It's wonderful to be here.
So tell me about visibility. What is it?
Well, visibility, kind of obvious, right? Everybody knows. But I think that first and foremost, people think of visibility, they picture somebody standing up on stage and speaking, right? But it is a lot more than that. It's for people who own a store, it's opening a store and putting out your products. For people who blog, it's putting their written word out into the public. For authors, putting their book out and launching it, right? So it can look a lot of different ways. But what it really is about, it's about connection to others. It's about revealing self to others. And that requires vulnerability.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And,
So
and with social media, it's like, it's really funny because bullies feel very safe to
they do.
respond on social media.
Yeah.
And again, if we have beliefs or we have that trauma or we've had that experience that people go for the jugular when we say who we are, or, I mean, again, it all falls into place. And I know Heidi and I have talked about this. Culturally, some people, like were raised to not be seen, right? Be behind the scenes, do all the work, nose to the grindstone kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, and don't shine too bright because it'll make people feel worse. I'm just coming up with all sorts of stuff.
You are. You're actually going right to the blocks. Awesome.
I mean, it's all of these things, right? It's like, I wish, people always like want to like say, like, what's the one thing? It's like, oh my gosh, everything is multifaceted. And when you do techniques like Theta Healing and EFT or tapping, we don't have to know as much, right? We just kind of have to know where people are at, where they want to be, which is a beautiful thing. But then, like what we're talking about here is, like, what's up with being seen? What's that? So, which is like the next question. I must have read it before, So what is the push pull of it? Because I've just mentioned some things. I may have answered the question. I apologize.
No. It's all good. No, so there is a push pull, and I think it's for everyone, for people like my celebrities, or for the coaches that I work with. We want to be seen. I want to be seen, and yet there's an inner conflict. There's often, almost always, there's an inner conflict. Fear of criticism, fear of judgment, fear of being rejected, not received, fear of not being enough. There's so many things that go along with the visibility. So we want to be out there. We want to get our message out. We want our soul's purpose to be fulfilled. We want to answer the calling, but we have those internal things pulling us back, right? So there's a tug of war inside. I want to be, and I'm going through this right now, actually. Every time we level up, we ask more of ourselves, we go back to our core woundings. And so for you, maybe it was the cultural thing. For me, it's about because I was abandoned as a baby, given away as a baby, and all the things that sets up, right? You're not enough. And that's
the thing is that for a lot of people, what I notice like with clients is that people will, like they graze over like being adopted, right? They don't realize, like, because most people, right, and I'm not saying everybody, they get adopted by people who actually really wanted them, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's such a dichotomy, right? It's like it is that push pull, because it's like I ended up people who really wanted me and loved me and waited for me and all of that, but it's like but we started off with somebody not wanting us.
Yeah, or at least we've perceived that way. I mean, I have since found my birth mother, and it was, a comfort to know she always did want me, and she wanted the best for me. And so she made a really difficult decision. But what my little tiny self perceived in that, her not being there for me, not taking me home, never having a physical connection with her, was that I was unwanted. Right. Mm-hmm. It felt like rejection. It felt like abandonment.
As kids, we do that. Like, something's going on, has nothing to do with us. It's our fault.
Oh, we all make it about ourselves. Right?
So the way that everybody's like narcissistic, but not in a good way. Well, it's always about us.
On the spectrum.
We're all and and I feel like that also what happens too is people are up leveling. Because now, it's no mistake that you have like this, like two guns a sling in here, right? And the stock, because I mean, you'd have to be living under a rock to know that a lot of stuff going on with the planets. And part of it is, one of the results is, if you, again, I mean, they're all saying the same thing, is that, and I don't know which one, right? I just read them and go, okay. Cause I just hold on to pertinent information, not like all of the details. That's just who I am. And it's like, one of the results is that our SHIT is getting, stirred up so that we can face it and let it go forever type thing.
Right.
And that's what happens anytime you up level. So we're not just talking like a planetary up level, right? We're talking about in life. Because I know my experience, and I know that Heidi just mentioned it, but we're going to go ahead and state it again, because sometimes we don't hear things the first time, and sometimes we have to hear it a second or third time, is that when you are up leveling, it is like layers of an onion, and what it is going to show itself in order for you to do it. So until we're ready to up level, so until we're ready to step out of our comfort zone, we're good, right? Like nothing shows up. It's like we live in our little bubble and life is good. And, you know, and I feel like that's one of the things that's going on with the quarantine, as well as people are like having to really look at themselves because they got plenty of time type thing, right? So there are many, again, we're all individuals and it all appears differently for us. But that's the thing, is like, okay, so I'm going to step out of my comfort zone, and what comes up. And that's why having tools, or having somebody who is masterful in these tools, is helpful. Because then they, you know, because I feel like that most of us as adults get caught in that definition of insanity, right? Repeating the same behavior, expecting a different outcome. And then we finally just have to have mercy, right? And say, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Which is hard for a person, you know, especially the level of who we work with as clients. For both Heidi and I, it's like they're usually an expert of some sort. They have mastered other, you know, something in their lives, or they wouldn't be where they're at. But then, you know, there's always, you know, we really help with that foundational work, like what did not get set up in order for people to be able to be consistent and maintain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is a lot. And I love, you know, that, is there anything else, Heidi, that you feel like is a common block that people have about being seen? We talked about so much.
Yeah, there's so much. I think what it all comes down to really is not feeling safe. When you boil it all down, it really comes to, I don't feel safe. It's dangerous to stick my neck out, because if I do, then da 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 da. You know, we make up stories about what's going to happen. Sometimes those things do happen, and often they don't. But we tell ourselves it's not safe. The subconscious tells us it's not safe.
Right.
And then sometimes we don't even know we're doing it. We just know that, oh, something's not happening. I feel stuck. And I'm not taking the action that I know I should be taking or I want to take, right? I'm not picking up that phone and calling those people, right?
And, you know, and it's, you know, I mean, as human beings, we're complicated, right? Like we're multifaceted, we're complicated. But honestly, like what Heidi's talking about, like we really only have two motivations.
Yes.
We move towards love, or we move away from fear. Right? Like, I mean, like, it's like, you know, and so when we're stepping up leveling, or we're stepping out of our comfort zone, you know, we're moving towards fear, not away from it. Right. And so that can be, I mean, like I said, that's why, like, we get to see like what's coming up. And that's why it's beautiful to have tools. And again, experts to be able to support us in that, because I just can't imagine doing this without having somebody supporting.
We wouldn't probably either of us be sitting where we are and doing the work that we do without having the tools. So
having the tools, having people that have the tools,
absolutely,
you know, again, because you can learn something, but you still got to have somebody that has the experience in it. And so it's a beautiful, you know, I always find, you know, that people, I want people to learn Theta Healing. Don't get me wrong. I'm an instructor. It's the reason that I became an instructor, because I feel like everybody in the world ought to learn it. Right. And, but we also, you know, especially when you're an expert in other areas, you have to give yourself, and not that it takes forever or anything. Don't get me wrong. I have people who accelerate very quickly in learning Theta Healing because I want them to, right? Like, you know, I feel like sometimes we have instructors that don't want us to be better than them. Right? Like they want to, but I'm not that person. I really want, you know, blow me away, leave me behind in the dust. I'm cool with it. Because that to me, you know, I think that's also like as a parent, right? Like that's what people want. We want more for our children. We want better for our children. Not all parents are like that. Again, that's where some work gets to be done for certain people. But it's like, if you have that parent, it's like you're a reflection of the love that they've given you, and that you can really blossom and really go out there and shine. Right. And so, and I know, with whatever you can learn, like from Heidi and I, that is the same way. So I love Heidi. She and I are like really on the same page. Yeah. So tell us about fraud factor.
Yeah. So this is another kind of block. The fraud factor is also known as the imposter syndrome, right? So when we put ourselves out there, we let ourselves be seen, we connect with others, we start speaking our truth, sharing our gifts, a little voice often comes up and says, who are you to do this? And, oh my goodness, what if they find out you are not what you are pretending to be? Right. Absolutely. So that's another big block to overcome for a lot of people. And it's really, really interesting to find out that famous people, authors, musicians, actors, as I did research for this, the idea of the fraud factor and the gift that I'll be offering people, which
Stay tuned.
Created a number of years ago, but and even before high profile people were in my purview. But I found out that these amazing people who have created such success have this fear, like, oh my gosh, they're going to find out this time. Maya Angelou, every time she published a book, she would say to herself, they're going to find out that I don't know what I'm talking about. This book is finally going to reveal that I'm a fraud.
Well, and Oprah felt like that as well, right? I mean, like, that's the thing. I think it's, it's comforting in a way to know that these like really successful, dynamic, like insightful people,
yes,
and are, going through the same thing that we're going through.
Right. Right.
They just get to do it with money. So I invite them to do it with money as well, right? Like, it's an easier problem to solve.
You're in good company. Well, and so sometimes the imposter, it just depends how you're wired. Sometimes you get to a level of success, like you're able to create the success, but then you don't have the peace inside, that knowingness that I am who I am and I am enough. And I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I deserve to be here. So you can create the success sometimes without that, but then you have this inner churning. And who wants to live with that? Can you really enjoy the success that you have if that's going on inside? Probably not.
I also see, in a way, where it comes up as well, Heidi, is that we see like the person who's perpetually successful because they succeed and then fail, succeed or lose it. Like they get a lot of money and then they lose it.
Yes.
That type of thing. So honestly, like the secret to anything, here it is, right, is consistency, right? Mm-hmm. So it's being consistent and where we're at in the fame, or being consistent. Again, I'm not saying like we can all be the rising star, right? But we want to stop being the phoenix that's rising from the ashes type thing.
Right. Constantly rising from the ashes.
Like it's like, okay, burn, baby, burn. Like, I mean, how many times, right? So it's, and again, for some of us, we can say like, I know when somebody said to me, like, who do you think you are? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And it typically, if it was somebody that we put like in that, authority figure, or it's somebody that loved us, right? That was part of our upbringing. It was, it was a message heard loud and clear, right? Because no matter what we think, kids hear everything, and we remember.
We soak it up. We're sponges. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So again, the ringing of the sponge, like what Heidi's saying, is really a beautiful combination between belief, trauma, and non-forgiveness work, along with the tapping, along with the emotional work. Mm-hmm. It is. It's like it's pretty amazing. So give them some idea on how they can step up their visibility with less fear, dread, and trembling.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've already kind of mentioned it, use the tools, but the kind of process that I tell people that you need to go through is, first you have to get really clear. You have to have clarity around what you want, why you want it, and what's in your way. Clarity is the first step. And then I think the second step is something that I know I didn't have this for a long time. I didn't have this awareness that this was important. You have to claim it. If you want more visibility, you go, okay, I'm going to plant my stake in the ground. I'm deciding, even before maybe you've cleared the path, but I'm deciding that I'm going to have this. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to be more visible. And then you set out to clear that path, to use the tools or use the people in your world to help you clear the path, the beliefs, the emotion, the trauma, the things that are in your way that are slowing you down and keeping that resistance active.
And it's cool. Yeah, it's cool when you work with somebody because then you're not responsible for that. You don't have to figure it all out. I'm sorry, what else were you going to say?
Yeah, no, just taking you through the steps. So it's clearing the path. And then part of that too is creating an inner foundation, right? You can't just empty the trash. You want to fill your being up, right? Mind, body, and spirit with all the energies that will support you, the confidence and the self-love and the knowledge that you are safe no matter what, as an eternal being, right? Because we are not just a body. This is just kind of something that we're using for the time being. As an eternal, infinite being, we are safe. We are safe. And the safety messages that our subconscious gives us when we step out and when we up level, they're oftentimes a lie. The subconscious is doing its job. Its prime directive is to try to keep you safe. And if anything that is unknown, it tags as not safe. Danger, danger. And the alerts go off and our primitive brain kicks in and we take a step back. So we need to reprogram the mind to know that, yes, we're okay. We're in this together, subconscious, and we're going to be safe doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, and that's the beautiful thing. When you do theta healing, when you do EFT, you're bypassing the brain, right? Like you're bypassing the subconscious because again, we don't want to make it sound like a villain, right? But it really does. It comes from a good place to keep you safe, but it limits, right? And it sometimes brings up irrational fears that don't actually exist, right? So then it's, again, it's so important, so important.
Yeah. We've seen we have some, I'm sure you have some science geeks in the theta world too, but we've seen in our world proof. We're actually starting to get the research, the real science behind what tapping does. It literally creates new neural pathways in the brain. So if you had an old pathway that said, you have to be afraid once you stick your neck out, or it's not safe to be seen. That's how your thoughts go. It's just automatic. It's like a deer taking the path of least resistance through the woods. It's not going to break down the brambles every single time.
Right.
It's going to go through that well-worn path. Well, tapping literally shuts off those old pathways and creates new ones. Being seen as safe.
Which is so easy, like in our brain, right? It's so easy for our brain to do that because we're only using 11%, right? So that creates it. And it's so funny that Heidi said that because just for the record, I'm not a huge science geek. Like I can give you the information and anything that I do, everything that I do. But I will tell you that Bianna Stabal is a huge science geek.
She's really?
Oh God, yes. Like I always say, okay, this is some of Bianna's brain candy, said with love, okay? Because she does give a lot of information. I mean, she has a science background. She's a naturopath.
Cool.
I mean, she's done, so she really does say, and she's set up tests and that kind of thing so that people can. And again, I feel like that, with the tapping, right? We're doing something with our hands. With theta healing, when you have a one-on-one session, we're doing kinesiology, right? So there's all of this before and after, right? There's all of this. And so the cool thing is that because Heidi and I are so bam, 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 right? Is that we're going to have enough time. Cause I just said, well, I think it would be cool, Heidi, if we looked at, what comes up as a result, what are the challenges? Let's clear them with theta healing, and then let's do some tapping. So if you've never done tapping, right? So here's your opportunity.
Woo-hoo.
And, you know, I also think too, yes, again, here we are, we're on a video, right? We're doing this and you can learn so much. And you can also have it to where, again, if your bandwidth, if your 11% already says I got room for no more, right? Then that's when you look to an expert to be able to support you in this, to be able to move you towards it. I feel like, again, it's a safety deal. It's also control, right? Which is a safety deal that we need to figure everything out ourselves. And I do believe that we do reach a certain age where we kind of realize like that ain't happening. Right. And we know, like, let me ask for help. But, you know, I feel like that's been the biggest thing. Like, has asking help in the past, has that been helpful for you? Right. You know, and the world is our mirror. A reminder again, I know I say this all the time, but the world is our mirror. So I always say, like, if you want to know what you believe, look at what you got in your life now. Mm-hmm. If you want to know where your work lies, look at where your life lies. And one of I have a friend who says, if you want to know what you still need to work on, get in a relationship, right? Like if you're not in a relationship,
or open a business.
Well, and that's what Brenda says. And I was just going to say that. Yes, Heidi is. I'm telling you, man, we're like of like mind here. I say, if you want to know what you still need to work on, mm-hmm. start your own business. Yeah, because we are our business. And I feel like that also too, with Heidi working with her celebrity clients, right? They're their business. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're an entrepreneur. They're a contractor. You know, I mean, like, you know, that's the thing I think that people like forget. And, you know, depending on who they've trusted through their beliefs and their traumas and their non-forgiveness to help them, mm-hmm. you know, some just have somebody that's just putting out all the fires. And then you have somebody like Heidi that actually wants to help them prevent the fires. Right. So, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And that's I think that's, you know, I'm going to tell you that that's the goal. We have different clients that in some ways they overlap and in some ways they don't. But that's just the thing. We just want to make people's lives easier, balanced,
happier.
Right.
Fulfilled.
Right. All the good adjectives, none of the bad. And not to say that they're not going to come out, right? But then they're more manageable, right? When you've got a good foundation, they're more manageable. Or it's just about the moment, right? So we make a mistake. Okay, so is it the definition of insanity? Are we making the same mistake? Or is it a new mistake because it's something that we didn't know and we up-leveled and we can manage that mistake because it doesn't have all these years or all of these past lives or all of these inherited, you know, beliefs and traumas and non-forgiveness. It's just about the moment because I did something different. That's the cool thing about when you up-level and you step out of your comfort zone is there's really nothing else behind it other than what you want to be behind it. Right. So that, again, it's all a choice. It's all a choice. So we're gonna play. Are you guys ready? Oh, like yes, right? So gosh, man, I'll tell a lot of good stuff. I probably should have asked Heidi to take some notes. I do this a lot, like in my classes. I just start going, man, it could be this, and it's this, and it's this. So let's just start off. So what we're gonna do now, and the second half of our interview, is I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Theta Healing, and we're gonna set up, you know, just the basics for it so that we can do a little work. And then I'm going to hand it over to Heidi, who's going to give you a little bit of information on EFT, on tapping, so that she can, you know, get you set up a little bit. And then she's going to do a little bit of work as well. Okay. Sound good, Heidi?
Sounds great.
Okay. So, like I say, with Theta Healing, and I've been doing this for 14 years. I was one of the first 9 masters in the world. I've been doing it for 14 years. And this is what I've done for a living. So this is not a hobby. Like with all of Heidi's credentials, this is not a hobby. This is a tool that she uses in her practice, right? Same with me. This is a tool that I use in my practice. It's my main tool because I love it. And, and that's why I teach it as well. So we are going to set it up, right, to where we can do some theta healing. And when I mean set it up, I mean set it up for success. Is the most important thing is to say yes out loud. So of course with Heidi's, you're going to be following her tapping. So you're agreeing to that and you're doing it. But with me, in order for the work to be done, you have to say yes out loud. And what that does is it tells, the universe, again, we're talking about clarity. People don't understand how important clarity is. So we're talking about having that clarity of like, this is what I want. I'm saying yes to this. So universe hears it. Whoever your higher power is hears it. The brain hears it. So you can go, oh, okay, yeah, we'll go in. If you're saying yes, then it's yes, So we want to make sure that we have 3 beliefs in place before we even get started. And this is going to be helpful not only with the theta healing, but also the EFT, right? Because it's intended to work very quickly, both of our processes. So I want an instant healing. I deserve an instant healing. And instant healing is possible. Okay. So if you would like those, just say yes out loud.
Yes, please.
Okay. And so let's look at, let's see here.
Something moved there because I feel a yawn in the back of my throat. That's my indication for energy moving. Yeah, so that was good. You may actually see me yawn out loud, which is that's okay.
I burp, Heidi yawns, don't take it personal, okay? That just knows that it's working, all right? That it's a movement. And again, I just want to let you know, like if you're hearing what if you love what you're hearing, please share this. Please share it in any groups that you have, share it with people that you love or maybe don't love. It's okay that you want to get this, right? And tag them below in the comments, share it on your timeline, tag them just so that they can have this work. I mean, this is an opportunity for things to change instantly. And if you're watching the replay for my work, all you have to do is just say yes. You'll still get it. It's not like you had to be watching this live. That's I just want to make sure that people understand that. So please tag people, share it with people. This is very, this is, we're giving you some information. We've kind of set it at, we've set the scene, and now we're doing action, right? So it's going to be good, right? Let's see here. We're going to, let's change what prevents us from knowing that there is room in the world for us to be seen, right? So there's enough room for everyone, right? So we want to change that, we want to change that if I'm seen, then somebody else won't be seen, right? So we're not being seen at the expense of everybody else being seen, or that there's only one spot at the top, right? There's a lot of spots. We want to change that if people know who we are and what we do, they'll reject it. Okay. We want to change that it's lonely at the top, right? So if there's no space there for us to up level one, and then there's only space for one, and then we get there and then we're there, by ourselves, And again, if you're like an extrovert or you want all that love and support, which I mean, everybody wants love and support. I mean, that's not like that's like, oh my God, I can't believe you want it. Everybody wants it. Then why would we want to go so high that we wouldn't get it? Right. So we want to be able to know that we'll still have that love and support no matter where we go. Did you see her yawn? I did too. Yay, it's a good sign that we're doing some good stuff. Woohoo! Let's also change that that it's wrong to be seen, right? Like just innately wrong to be seen. Yeah. So if y'all would like those, just say yes out loud.
Yes.
Let's also change that we're obligated, because obligation means we don't have a choice. Let's change the obligation to be seen as a fraud, right? Because then that creates it. Let's also change that we're obligated to sabotage our success. Let's also change that it's not safe to step out of our comfort zone, right? That it's not safe to up level, right? Because whether we're talking like about like in work or like just even energetically, right? Because we've got a lot of up leveling that's happening energetically. That's like not in our field of expertise, right? With Heidi and I, we're not astronomers, we're not astrologers here, but there's just a lot going on, and it all plays in to everything. So if you'd like those, just say yes out loud.
Yes.
And then let's change the obligation that we have to be perfect to be seen. Right?
Love that one.
Because, I'm going to tell you, I'm in my imperfection here and being seen. Although I do like my background, right? But other than that, it just is what it is, right? Like, as far as how it is, how we show up. Which is good for me. I know that. So if you'd like that, just say yes.
Yes.
So just gonna double check. And then let's also change let me think about this. That our value cannot be acknowledged and celebrated. Okay. So can we change that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't stop yawning. And now my eyes are tearing. So that's another thing that my body does.
Because before I, hand it off to Heidi here, I'll be honest with you, like my business coach, right? And which is why we hire coaches, why we, I like to consider myself a disruptor, right? It's why we hire people to help us. Her assignment for me was like, you need to do Facebook Lives on your personal page, right? And I just looked at her, because the deal is that when I often say you can't expect to spend more money on you can't expect people to spend more money on you than you're willing to spend on yourself, right? And especially as an entrepreneur, I'm going to tell you, but I mean, in any way, but as an entrepreneur. And, so the deal is that when we have a little skin in the game, like myself, I really like to be that client that shows up and just does what they say. Like I have a million coaches that they'll lend testimony to say, you're pretty easy to work with. And I would say something and you like just changed it and did it and, all of that. Right. So she said that to me, cause I'm just going to say like, we all have our stuff. Right. And I went, okay. And she went, okay, and then I did a bunch of Facebook Lives, but then I came up with this concept, like I'd rather interview, like I've never really seen the value of like doing a podcast, but I'm like, oh, I do now, because then I get to like bring in cool people and we get to talk about things and then we get to like do work around it, right? So it's not just a interview, like not that I have any judgment on any of that, but it was like, that's not how I roll, right? So what was really funny was, which kind of goes in hand with what we're talking about here, I looked at her and I said, okay. And I said, but I just want to let you know. And she was like, okay. And I said, it's a big ask. And she goes, is it? And I went, oh yeah. Now I will post all day long and videos and everything, like on my page, on my business page, in my groups, but on my personal page, I had kept that very separate.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I get it. I know the analytics behind it. I know the metrics. I understand why I would want to do it, but I just never did it. Like I just didn't see. And it's been so much fun. And it's been like so cool. And, I have a tool, right? And I also have a support system that helped me. Like that I just said yes, right? Because that's sometimes it's a leap of faith, right? I just said yes, and then wanted to see what came up. And they've been so much fun. Like I just can't even tell you. So again, when we're talking about visibility, right? This is part of the ways that we do it, right? We have so many ways now that maybe, that give us this. So I'm taking the baton and I'm handing it up to Heidi.
All right.
And she's going to take us to the finish line. I know, right? Here you go.
Okay, everybody. So if you're not familiar with tapping is one of the tools. It's probably the biggest tool in my toolbox. There's others that I feel intuitively guided to use and we use them too. But tapping is amazing, like Brenda said, for helping heal the emotions behind something. It's also fantastic for trauma and for beliefs, but I'm kind of liking Theta for beliefs. They're more entrenched and difficult to shift as quickly, I think, with tapping than Theta. So
just like our significant others and just like any other relationship, something's not intended to be everything, right? And so we have to see like, okay, that works best with this and this works best with this. So yeah. Heidi's in the know. Go on, Heidi.
Okay, so tapping, what we do is it's literally, we tap on acupuncture points where an acupuncturist would use, right? We access the lines of energy in our body through these different points. And so I'm just going through the basic ones. While we focus on an issue, while we focus on a feeling, while we focus on a problem. And I will guide you through. All you really need to do is repeat after me. You can repeat it out loud. You can repeat it in your head if you'd like. The main thing is to try to stay focused on the issue at hand, and also to be aware of what pops up in your mind, because as we clear things out, tapping, then the tapping clears things out, our mind will bring up things to be noticed that it wants you to address. Whether you address them next or later, doesn't really matter, but your mind will always give you little signs as to, oh, even if it doesn't feel related, it feels completely out of left field, make a note of it because your mind is bringing it up for a reason. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So things that can come up are memories or thoughts or feelings or experiences. So whatever it is, just kind of make a note of it and go, okay, so that's, my mind really wants me to work on that.
Right. Note to self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll just say I'm quoting Charles here.
Oh, okay. Note to self. Oh, it's Charles taking notes. Hi, Charles. I'm taking notes.
He's maybe not taking notes, but he's always taking notes. And I love that about him.
It's awesome. I actually took a note off of one of his notes today. I'm like, oh, I need that note.
I do it all the time. I do it all the time. And I'm so grateful. This is a mutual person that we know, and he takes the best notes. And so I love that.
That's great.
Because it leaves us to have our minds be creative for other things. So what are we going to work on, Heidi?
Yeah. So visibility, right? So we'll try to stick with the emotions, the fear of not being safe. Okay. If anybody's in the chat and wants to throw something in that has come up for them, you're welcome to do that. Brenda can tell me, and then I can add it in.
That's a big responsibility. I better look up then. All right, go on.
I don't know how easy it is to navigate the Zoom and the Facebook at the same time. But yeah, so while she's just checking that, I'll just go through the points. So we're first going to start with the side of our hand, okay? And it's just below the pinky, that little pad of flesh that you would kind of, if you were a karate person and chopping something. So you would just tap lightly, doesn't matter right or left, just gently with a finger or two. And that's what the first point that we'll use. And then
there's been a request for Chula, so I'm just showing her really quickly.
Oh,
there
Chula.
You go, Mark.
Then we'll go to the eyebrow point, which is right here where the eyebrow begins. Again, we're bilateral, so it doesn't matter right or left, just gently tapping. And then side of the eye, which is right on the bone, under the eye, right on the bone, under the nose. We call this the chin, but it's really just above the chin and below the lower lip. Okay. So these are all acupuncture points. Okay. And then the collarbone point, just where a man would knot his tie to the right or left, doesn't matter, just below that. And then under the arm, so you can use your other hand, or you can just tap right there a couple inches below the armpit, and top of the head. Tons of points on top of the head. Fantastic. Okay. All right, so what this does is it frees up the energy, and it literally releases emotions.
Just doing that without even thinking about anything is really good.
It's relaxing, isn't it? There are other points too. Like for me, this is really relaxing for me. Sometimes I just tap my wrists together and I just want to go to sleep. So, but yeah, just doing this helps to stimulate the energy system and to kind of free it up. All right, and then what can we do when we're actually focusing on something? So focus on your visibility issue and your fear around being seen, like what that might mean for you. What might change in your life? Oh my goodness, if you were actually to be seen. And I'm talking, we're going to focus on the negative. For law of attraction people, don't worry, we're not tapping in negative things. We're actually just saying the truth of what is now. Okay. All right. So focus on the negative. Like if you were really to allow yourself to be seen, might there somebody be in your family that would be angry, be jealous, right? Would you just be afraid of that not being received, of being criticized, of being judged? Okay, so bring it up for you. Your files are going to be up. So whether my words match yours or not, my questions are helping your files to come up in your mind. And as we go through the points, they should be addressed. So pick one of them or two of them and just measure right now, 0 to 10. How fearful are you of being seen? Okay. 10 being, oh, I don't want to be seen, right? How does that feel? Right? Okay. All right. So note that number and then we'll see what changes. Okay. All right. So side of the hand here, we'll just start tapping gently. And take a deep breath. And then repeat after me. Even though I have this fear, of being seen, of letting myself be visible, putting myself out there. It just doesn't feel safe.
It just does.
I choose to honor how I feel. And I honor my need to stay safe.
And I honor my need to stay safe.
Yeah. Even though I'm afraid to be seen. Because if I let myself be seen, that means I'm vulnerable. It means people could reject me. I could be judged. I don't want that. But I accept how I feel. And I'm willing to accept me too. Okay. All right. So now we'll go to the points and just remind ourselves of what we did at the first point. Being visible. I want it, but I don't. Yeah. I want to get my message out there. And I want to make the money that comes along with that.
I want the money that comes along with that.
But it's really scary. I can feel that fear.
I can feel that fear.
It's right there in my body.
It's right there in my body.
I want to be seen. I want to put myself out there. But it's not safe. It doesn't feel safe. I'm resisting being seen. Don't ask me to go there. I'm not doing Facebook Lives. I'm not saying, I'm not speaking on stage. I'm not publishing that book. I am not picking up that phone and talking to potential clients. It just doesn't feel safe. What if they reject me? What if they judge me? What if they criticize me? It's happened before. I don't want it to happen again. What if they don't criticize me, though?
What if they don't criticize me?
What if they don't judge me?
What if they don't judge me?
What if they don't reject me?
If they don't reject me?
What if they actually have open arms?
What if they actually have open arms?
What if they receive me?
What if they receive me?
Maybe it's safer to be seen than I think.
Maybe it's safer to be seen.
Yeah. And even if they do judge me,
and even if they do judge me,
I think I can survive it.
I think I can survive it.
I'm willing to know my truth.
Willing to know my truth.
I'm willing to know that I can be safe.
I'm willing to know I can be safe.
Against all of that criticism and judgment.
Against all of that criticism and judgment.
Against someone who might be angry.
Against someone who might be angry.
Or someone who might be jealous.
Someone who might be jealous.
I'm willing to know that I'm okay.
I'm willing to know I'm okay.
And that being seen is important.
And being seen is important.
My calling and my mission are important.
My calling and my mission are important.
So I'm willing to let go of the fear.
I'm willing to let go of the fear.
And feel safe moving forward.
And feel safe moving forward.
Okay, let me take a deep breath. Okay. All right. So if you go back to your number, how scary did it feel to be seen? And then just see where you are now. You might find, even with just a few minutes of tapping, and very generalized tapping, might I add, because with a client, I would take their specific situation. We would look to the past of past experiences where trauma was created, and we would be very specific. But very often, generalized tapping like this can move the needle for you. So yeah, just notice where you are. Absolutely. And notice what came up. So did anything come up for you, Brenda?
I just feel groovy. Like I feel just like super relaxed, right? Good. Like I could be like,
okay, time to take a nap.
Yeah. I feel like relaxed.
Good. Yeah, it's a fantastic stress release tool as well. So.
Well, and I think it gets you present.
Absolutely. And our power really is in our present and our presence in being here and now and in our body and not just here or out there. Our power is in our present.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Heidi. That was
Thank
good, huh?
you,
Like nobody's
Brenda.
had any extra comments. We just had the,
Okay.
and that's the request every week. I'm going to tell you is to see Chula. It always makes me laugh. Right?
Chula.
So she's just that, she holds that space and she just accelerates what's going on.
That's
right?
awesome.
And she's a great assistant, unseen. She really likes being behind the scenes. And I don't think we need to change it for her. It's okay. We'll support her in that.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Heidi, how can people get a hold of you?
You can find me, my regular business website is tapintoabundancenow.com. tapintoabundancenow.com.
And we will put it in the comments below.
Yep. Okay. Or Heidi at tapintoabundancenow.com. And I do have a gift for you all. So I don't know if you want to put that in there, but
we will.
It is, what is it called? It's called Out of the Shadows into the Light, Releasing the Fraud Factor. So I take you through the understanding of what the imposter syndrome, the fraud factor is. We do some tapping, and then I even bring in some other clearings. You get some bonus clearings along the way. So it's a video training and an audio training. So there you go.
That's nice. And then the cool thing is, of course, is that let me just say, I am teaching a virtual Theta Healing class this weekend. If that's something that you want to participate in, it's not too late, because I was just telling Heidi, the cool thing is that because it's virtual, I can just get the materials to you, right? And it's very easy. When I teach a physical class, I have to get everything printed, or I have to have it in print. And so it makes it a little bit harder to have people join at the last minute. So it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. So again, if that's something that interests you, if you'd like to just talk to me about Theta Healing, I have a website, chatwithbrenda.com, that you can schedule. And also I also have a free gift I think would be so cool, like to do Heidi's first and then do mine. And it is a 1-minute abundance meditation that I really invite people to do twice a day, and first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and do it for 30 days and see what happens. I am getting such great feedback from people and, what's happening. So I think it would be so cool to be able to, combine the two. Because again, the EFT, the tapping with Theta Healing is just like such an amazing combination. It really is, that secret sauce, so to speak, that works really well for people. Yeah. So, my goodness, we're just like right on the money here. And again, please, Heidi will be sharing this. I'll be sharing this like in our groups and our timelines and everything else. And just, that's how you get a hold of us. Oh, and by the way, I didn't say this. www.shatteryourincomeceiling.com is where you get the 1-minute meditation. And we will put all the links down below in the comments so that you'll be able to find it easy as well. So Heidi, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you, Brenda. It's been a lot of fun.
Appreciate it so much. And again, I have cool people on here. So, and so next week we're actually, which is a beautiful piggyback. And again, I just book people, guys, and then it just like shows up, like who's going to be. And so I am actually going to be, my featured guest is going to be Tina Dietz. And her company is Twin Soul. Oh my God, I'm gonna butcher it. So don't get me to, we won't go there. But what we're going to be, it's like, oh my gosh, Twin Flames, communication. She is, we're going to be working on the, oh goodness, where is it? Hold on. What you can change to make your voice be powerfully heard and easily share your expertise.
There you go.
So I think it's like just a beautiful.
That's how the universe works.
Right. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Tina is really cool. Again, I'm very blessed to know very cool people to be able to bring on and for people to learn from. So I think probably if we probably looked at everything that I've done, everything builds on everything, and it's just really cool. So I thank y'all for joining us, and we will see you next week with Tina, and I will be posting that, and I just appreciate y'all so much. So, and again, thank you, Heidi.
Thank you, Brenda. It's been wonderful.
All right.